Straight ahead, acquiring history. Find out the significance of the recent purchase the City of Stillwater is set to make and how they plan to use it. A change in the air. One major industry looks to bounce back over the past few years. We have the details in our national headlines. All that and more is coming up on the Daily O. Good evening and welcome into the Tuesday edition of the Daily O. I'm Emma Lightfoot. Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with a unanimous approval for a big purchase here in Stillwater. City councilors unanimously voted Monday evening to approve the purchase of Stillwater's historic black school off of West 12th Avenue. The goal is to preserve the original building so community members can improve the property to be used for education, historical displays, sports recreation, events, and parking. Originally built in 1908, Booker T. Washington School is one of 3 remaining black schools in Oklahoma, and the only one with the potential to be preserved, according to Preservation Oklahoma's 2022 Most Endangered Places list. According to Preservation Oklahoma, African American and Afro-Indigenous people were among the earliest settlers in Indian Territory. In the first half of the 20th century, Oklahoma was home to more than 50 black schools. The school alumni commonly refer to the Booker T. Washington School as the only remaining structure documenting the history of Black Stillwater. 3 people are dead in an aircraft fire that occurred last night in Oklahoma City. According to the Oklahoma City Fire Department, an aircraft caught fire near Northwest 23rd and Cimarron Road as the plane was in the proximity of Clarence E. Page Airport. Upon arrival to the scene, emergency crews then discovered the loss of 3 people. All have yet to be named. An NTSB official has been sent to scan the scene to come up with a probable cause for the crash, which may take between 1 to 2 years. The Okmulgee County District Attorney's Office shared what evidence they had to charge their only suspect, Joe Kennedy. Official murder charges have been filed against Kennedy in the deaths of Mark and Billy Chastain, Mike Sparks, and Alex Stevens. Details have emerged with evidence in the case, and a key piece was cell phone location information from an app used by Mark Chastain and his wife. Investigators had knowledge that Mark's phone was located in the scrapyard between 5 and 6 p.m. on October 9th, but just before 9 p.m. the same night, his phone moved. Kennedy had told police he'd experienced thefts at his scrapyard and had personally surveilled the scrapyard on October 9th. Kennedy is being held without bond in Okmulgee County. Investigators said all signs show he acted alone. One of the hardest hit industries during the COVID pandemic has turned a new page. The airline industry is expected to turn a profit in 2023 for the first time in 4 years. A forecast by the International Air Transport Association predicts airlines will earn a net profit of $4.7 billion. The organization says net losses for 2022 were expected to be $6.9 billion. That's less than it had previously forecasted and significantly better than both 2021 and 2020. The last time the industry made money was 2019, before the pandemic pushed demand down. Demand has increased with the reopening of borders closed by the pandemic, and a strong U.S. dollar has encouraged more Americans to travel overseas. Corporate travel has also been making a comeback. However, certain challenges remain, including delayed plane deliveries, pilot shortages, and airport infrastructure issues. Part 1 down, 3 more to go here on the Daily O. When we come back, one Stillwater resident looks to continue to spread happiness to those around her. Also, it's time to take a look into your national headlines. We'll tell you what's going on when the Daily O returns.
We would design something, it was set on the counter, and people was either, if enough of them said, this isn't it never made to the line. Dad was excited that they're all original. They were all designed on Mom's kitchen table, and it gets in your blood after a while.
We're very happy that Pamela and Michael have taken over the business and kept the family going.
We took the business over in 2017. When we found that it was available, we wanted to keep the legacy of family alive, but it was also incredible products that deserved to be a part of Made in Oklahoma's story. We were a part of Made in Oklahoma years ago. And so it kind of grew as Made in Oklahoma grew.
Oklahoma is ingrained into everything that we did. We've been here most of our life. That's what we entailed our whole business on, was the Oklahoma homegrown feeling.
To Pecans are staple to Oklahoma. In fact, many of our native pecans come from trees that are older than Oklahoma statehood.
My father's the one that got us started into the pecan picking. I was probably 10 or 12 years old, and we started off with one little mechanical picker that you pulled behind a four-wheeler. Then we'd go home at night and we'd clean them on a TV tray. I guess watching my dad work hard when we were young, and people started trusting him and getting more and more groves, we just kept growing.
Being a relatively new and fresh company, we get to sit in the same room with people who have been a part of the Oklahoma economy for decades.
It's opened a lot of doors. It's gave us quite a bit of exposure, and I think people, will take a small company like us a little more serious. We're just going to continue growing as long as our community lets us and our customers keep on buying, and we'll see where it takes us.
You may have been to casinos at some point in your life, but do you really know the truth behind the game you're playing?
And the casinos were very polemic or very controversial when they came out. But the truth was, that's all the federal government gave us.
Casino is owned by the Chickasaw Nation and has roughly 600,000 square feet of dedicated gambling space, making it the world's largest casino. It contributed massively to the Chickasaw Nation, posting a net revenue of $1.4 billion for the fiscal year of 2017.
Welcome back into the Daily O. It's time to take a look into your national headlines from throughout the nation. Joining us in the studio is our own Mia Ledbetter to give us the latest. Mia?
Thanks, Emma. The battle of the First Amendment against tech companies now reaches a new level. Facebook owner Meta is threatening to remove all news content from its sites if Congress passes a law to allow news organizations to negotiate with tech companies to distribute their stories. The bill would allow news groups to bargain collectively with tech companies to get a larger share of ad revenue in exchange for providing websites looking like Facebook access to their new content. There are reports Congress will add to the Journalism Competition and Preservations Act to the Defense Authorization Bill. That may create an easier path for the legislation to pass. A spokesperson from Meta said Monday if Congress approves the legislation, the company would be forced to remove all news content from its platforms. The tech industry strongly opposes the bill. The Department of Homeland Security is giving states 2 more years before it starts enforcing its so-called Real ID requirements. The new deadline is now May 7th, 2025, at which point all state driver's license must meet security standards established by the Real ID Act. After the deadline, IDs that don't meet those standards won't be accepted by federal agencies, including the Transportation Security Administration. That means you wouldn't be able to get through security at the airport if your state doesn't update your driver's license. Federal authorities weren't going to start enforcing the new standards on May 3rd of next year. Pushing the deadline back 2 years gives states more time to ensure that driver's licenses must meet all requirements. Emmy-winning actress Kirstie Alley has died. Her family says the 71-year-old died Monday after a short battle with cancer. The Alley rose to fame in the late 1980s and early 1990s, playing Rebecca Howe, a bar manager in the successful TV comedy series Cheers. Though Alley is best known for her role in Cheers, she also starred in a number of other TV shows and films that included David's Mother, Veronica's Closet, and Look Who's Talking. Alley's children pay tribute to their mother on social media, saying as iconic as she was on screen, she was even more amazing mother and grandmother. That's all we have from the news desk. Back to you, Emma.
Thanks, Mia. Back here in Stillwater, newcomers continue to learn about the top-notch hospitality given by locals. For one local grandma, she continues to spread her generosity through what she loves to do most, despite the challenges throughout her life. Alyssa Pena has more.
This is Donna Gernand, bringing home her groceries. To many, this would seem like a mundane task, but for a young Donna, this would be a dream.
A lot of our life, we were hungry or getting kicked out of wherever we lived.
Donna is a woman who's worn many hats throughout her life: nanny, mom, sister, daughter, wife, and family chef. For Donna, food isn't just nourishment for the body, but also nourishment for the soul.
There's always been food in the house, even though there were times when things were tight with us, but there was always food, and there'll always be food.
Despite life not always being easy, she truly has a heart and soul of gold.
I've lived a life, and it's not been bad. My mother just turned 16 when I was born. It was a very rough childhood. Running from the police a lot. We'd go from New Jersey to California. And when the police would come in California, we'd go back to New Jersey. I remember one time we were really, really hungry, and we were saying, "Dad, you got to find a place to give us some food." And we stopped in the middle of the night at a Volunteers of America. A cook came out with white apron and piles of toast, and he was so happy. He told us, "Eat as much as you want, I'll keep bringing it." And I know he kept bringing toast because we just kept eating and eating. And he said, "Just eat as much as you want." And but they had no place for us to stay, but we ate and ate and ate. And I'll always remember Volunteers of America for that.
In her life and her home, food goes beyond the kitchen.
As soon as people walk in the door, "Are you hungry? Well, you need something to eat?" And they make jokes about me. "I'm going to offer you food as soon as we're done with this."
Family dinners are very important. We do them once a week, typically. She makes food for all of us. Doesn't even have anyone else bring any food or sides or dessert, anything. She just prepares it all.
We've outgrown the table, so they're everywhere. And it's just real good fellowship time. And when they leave, sometimes I'm really tired, but when they leave, I'm so happy. And Pa and I just sit down and say, "Wasn't that good? Wasn't that good?" Family needs each other. Cousins need each other. Sisters and brothers need each other. We, especially in this day and age, friends need each other. We need each other.
And the world needs more Donnas.
One word to describe my grandma:
Dependable.
Loving.
Matriarch.
Rock.
Loveful.
Overgenerous.
Selfless.
Irreplaceable.
She's my soulmate, there's no doubt about it.
I've lived a good life.
She's given us a good life.
What a great story. Thanks for that. It's time for a quick break, but when we return, the latest from the transfer portal. 2 more Cowboys have elected to enter. We'll tell you who and the significance of it. Also, one Cowgirl basketball player has been named the Big 12 Player of the Week for her recent success. Breaking records that you won't want to miss. The Daily O will be right back.
Our state is one of the most beautiful and unique states in the USA. With diverse geographies, the historic Route 66, unforgettable restaurants, and some of the greatest people on the planet. With so much to see and so much to do, living in Oklahoma means one of the best vacation spots is right in our own backyard. Doesn't this story need to be told? As filmmakers and photographers based right here in Oklahoma, we thought so. And hey, who doesn't like a good road trip? So, we packed up our cameras, teamed up with Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell and the Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department, and that's how this series was born. We want to show you why traveling within the great state of Oklahoma is a great idea. So come join us for thousands of miles over the next year, from Broken Bow to Black Mesa. This is the Oklahoma Road Trip.
A Golf Digest 5-star course, Best New Public Course won an Open in 1994, and a top 100 public golf course in America since 2003. This course, just 5 miles outside of Stillwater, Oklahoma on Highway 51, is named after one of the influential golf pioneers this game has known.
Karsten Creek.
Karsten Creek.
Karsten Creek.
Karsten Creek.
Karsten Creek's a modern golf course.
The beauty of the course is in large part to the elements of the grounds. The Georgia fairway is transformed from its original forested landscape. Georgia was used to combat the tough winters so golfers could play year-round. The greens are large and sloping bent grass hills. The low-cut bent grass can be similar to glass during peak championship conditions. The bunkers surrounding most holes remind golfers of a white beach rather than a deep hazard. Lake Louise, surrounded by the second 9, completes the perfect finishing hole. The long par 72 course perfectly combines nature with the difficulty of a championship course. Karsten's added challenge is the Oklahoma wind.
So there aren't any other schools in the country that have that same commitment to college golf as we do here at Oklahoma State.
But if you're going to play at the highest level, you've got to be able to focus on where you want to go, and Karsten Creek does a good job of training you to do that, because if you don't, you're going to have a long day. And that's a great legacy that Coach Holder left, because that's the way he coached.
Welcome back to the Daily O. The transfer portal strikes again in Stillwater as the number of Cowboys electing to find a new home rose to 11 after Monday night. Following the news of Spencer Sanders electing to use his last year of eligibility elsewhere, reports then surfaced last night by Pokes Report that running back Dominic Richardson and defensive end Trace Ford have both entered the portal. This is another massive hit on both sides of the ball, especially in the rushing game. Dominic Richardson was poised to take over the starting running back job after Jaylen Warren entered the NFL draft. Richardson had a strong start to the season, including a 100-yard-plus performance against the Arizona State Sun Devils, but his role began to diminish as injuries began to pile up, and so did the Cowboy rushing offense, finishing the season second to last in the Big 12 with just over 131 yards per game. Richardson would finish the year with 149 carries for 543 yards rushing, tallying a total of 8 touchdowns in 9 games played. When looking over on the defensive end of things, as of right now, 4 of the original starting front 7 for the Cowboys defense is now gone. With Brendan Evers and Tyler Lacey both departing as anticipated, both will enter the NFL draft, with Ford alongside Mason Cobb entering the portal. One key player for that defense, however, has announced that he's here to stay. Defensive end Colin Oliver has been active on social media, voicing that he's not going anywhere, alongside safety Kendall Daniels. Oliver was one of the main forces for the top defensive line in 2021, his freshman season, finishing with 11.5 sacks. This year has been a struggle for Oliver, and the pass rush to get to quarterbacks as injuries continue to derail both sides of the ball. Oliver finished the season with 5 sacks, including 1 safety. We'll continue to monitor any more roster shakeups for the Cowboy roster as they continue to prepare for the Guaranteed Rate Bowl in Phoenix later this month. In other OSU news, Cowgirl basketball forward Taylon Collins has been named the Big 12 Player of the Week. Collins earns the honor following her recent performance against North Texas, recording her 3rd double-double with 12 points and a program single-game record 23 rebounds. The junior forward has now matched the previous record set by former Cowgirl Natasha Mack, which is tied for 7th in Big 12 history. It's time for one last break here on the Daily O. But when we return, it's time to turn back the clock and take a look at the On This Day in Sports History segment. Also, stay tuned for a historic Monday Night Football recap. Find out all that and more right here on the Daily O.
I'm Kristen Hawkins. I went to Oklahoma State University here in Stillwater in '99 to 2004. I've always felt like Stillwater needed more family-friendly things to do, and we have opened up AR Workshop. We do everything from knitting blankets that can be done in a 3-hour class. We create doormats and porch signs, the Christmas wreaths with our yarn that we use for the blankets. We also do, we just started a new project for gnomes, and we've done pumpkins during the fall. But our big thing that we do here are interior signs. Our designs are extremely unique to AR Workshop. Customers come in, everything is here for them to do. They create everything. They can be as hands-on as they want. They came in here to relax and have fun, and that they are proud of their project that they've made.
Ace in the Bowl salsa started many, many years ago. I was trying to find a recipe to take to a family gathering, and so I started messing around with different recipes, and I took a little bit from here and a little bit from there, and I came up with a salsa that is truly unique. Ace in the Bowl salsa is an olive oil-based salsa with tomatoes, green chilies, green onions, and black olives. There's no sugar added, it's gluten-free, low calorie, low carb, low fat, low sodium. So it's a very, very, very good alternative to any snack you may want. As of right now, I'm just looking to be in Oklahoma and having a successful business within the state. If my grandkids could ever take it over when they're old enough, that would be my dream.
My name is James Ramidi. Fired Up Stilly is the name of the business, and I'm one of the owners. We all three met, the three owners, working as employees at a similar place like this. What I hope for is for everybody to feel welcome, like family. Not only do I want students to feel welcome to come here and study and use our free Wi-Fi, but also I want adults and families to be able to come in. We've built a connection with a lot of people, and Stillwater's a big community, so we just want to invite everybody to be able to eventually make their way through our doors. Well, definitely the teas, I would say. Most people fall in love with them. They just got a great amount of energy, gets you going through your day, and it just kickstarts you to get everything you need to done. For myself, it would just have to be, being the owner, owning something that, is able to impact other people's lives, and, the way we can affect our community is something that I really have always wanted to do. We love our clients and our customers that come through every day, and we enjoy getting to know them.
Over the years, we kind of realized that you can get ribs anywhere, you can get a steak anywhere, but you can't always get a Mountain View hot link like ours. So we really decided to focus on that niche and realized we had something really special. So that's when we started focusing more on the hot links, but it's still the same family recipe they were making all those years ago. For us, many of our people that work here have been with us for years and decades. So whereas machines kind of break down over time, the people just get better. And it shows in the products we produce. When you buy a Mountain View product, not only is it going to taste dynamite, but you're also feeding Oklahomans. You're helping employ Oklahomans, and you're helping to fund the state's economy. So what's better than that?
Before we wrap things up, it's time to catch you up on what happened on this day in sports history. Let's keep things on the gridiron, where history continues to be made. In 1992, San Francisco 49ers wide receiver Jerry Rice would haul in his 101st career touchdown against the Miami Dolphins. Rice continues to place at the top of the leaderboard in most touchdown receptions at 197. Moving forward into more recent times, fantasy football players, y'all may remember this one. In 2019, Tennessee Titans running back Derrick Henry began his legacy in the league, torching the Jacksonville Jaguars for a franchise record 238 yards and 4 touchdowns, including a 99-yard house call in their 30-9 win. That 99-yard rush is tied for the NFL record set by the Dallas Cowboys running back Tony Dorsett. Week 13 of the NFL season concluded last night with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers pulling off a comeback win against the New Orleans Saints, 17-16. For the first time in regular season history, Bucs quarterback Tom Brady turned his first ever 13-point deficit into a win with less than 6 minutes to go. It seemed as if the Saints had sealed the deal in the final coming minutes with both sides of the ball clicking, but things changed quickly. An 8-yard touchdown by running back Rachaad White helped put Tampa Bay on top with 6 seconds remaining to take the lead. With the Bucs back to a .500 record at 6-6, they'll now look to continue to find their groove to keep themselves in the playoff picture, preparing for their next challenge against the San Francisco 49ers on America's Game of the Week. Before we let you go, it's time to dive into your national headlines throughout the sporting world. Joining us now in the studio is our own Mia to give us the latest. Mia?
Thanks, Emma. Nike has formally cut ties with Brooklyn Nets star Kyrie Irving. The company announced Monday Nike and the NBA guard have agreed to part ways. Nike's decision comes weeks after Irving posted a Twitter link to a controversial documentary that contains anti-Semitic messages. Irving initially refused to apologize. Nike suspended its relationship with Irving and canceled the launch of its Kyrie 8 shoes. But now Nike is permanently severing ties, even though Irving has since apologized. Irving took to Twitter to thank people who have ever bought products he ever endorsed, saying he considers those shoppers as family. Despite making another playoff run, the Tennessee Titans have decided it's time to make a change within the front office. General Manager John Robinson has been fired from the organization, putting the Vice President of Player Personnel, Ryan Cowden, to take over his role. Since taking over as General Manager since 2016, Robinson has led the Titans to a winning record for each year in office, marking them as the 9th most successful team during that time. Reports have begun to surface that the Titans executives have been displeased with the current direction of the roster. Leading to this decision, that's all we have from the sports side of things. Back to you, Emma.
Thanks for that, Mia. That's going to do it for us today. Make sure to tune back in tomorrow as Tyler Tripodi will have you covered on everything you need to know. For the Daily O, I'm Emma Lightfoot. Good night, everyone.
Hi everybody, my name is Emily Shuping. I'm your marketing coordinator for the Made in Oklahoma Coalition. I'm coming to you with an amazing opportunity. We are teaming up with the Ocali Media Group at Oklahoma State University. We want to tell your story on the following platforms: streaming, newspaper, and digital. This opportunity will not only allow your story to be told locally, but nationally as well. I am so excited for each of you to join in on this tremendous opportunity. This will not only be good for your business, but it will be good for our great state of Oklahoma. You can be expecting an email from me soon with more details about this opportunity. Local has a name, local has a face, local has a flavor. The Made in Oklahoma Coalition.
Are when folks drink our water is that they'll drink it for a few days and find out the difference. They'll start feeling better because there's been no chemical in our water. There's a list of good things that we have. We don't have any bad things in it. I see the future of Divine Water as being worldwide, which will bring outside dollars into the state. It means a lot to me because I started it, I guess, and our family started it.
We use the very best of the best ingredients. Demerara sugar is the best that is. Very high quality fruits, berries. The milk we use is the best milk there is. That's why it makes our product stand by itself. I like to make yogurt because I like to eat yogurt. We've been doing this for ourselves for many years because it's a tradition in our family. And we want to have a product which would be very similar to French yogurt, but with our touch of uniqueness, linking our name, our product, with the reputation of the Made in Oklahoma Coalition was probably the best thing we have done as far as promoting our product.